Hello! So I was hoping my last update would be the final one before production began on the Printalizer densitometer. Unfortunately, things didn't go entirely according to schedule. Even though I thought I had lined up all the orders with the intent of hardware finally coming back to be assembled by the middle of August, that didn't quite happen as planned. However, things are still moving forward. The circuit boards for the Printalizer densitometer are in the final stages of being assembled, which is good, and I expect to receive the first shipment of those this week. The enclosures are also almost done. I was told they were about 3/4 of the way finished by the end of last week, so those will probably be shipping out soon as well. In the meantime, I've been doing everything possible to prepare for once assembly starts gearing up. I've begun to create more of the assembly jigs that I've shown off in previous videos, and I've even started bolting some of the more common ones to these nice little planks of wood that make it easier to line up devices. One thing that's helped with this is the screw pattern on these pretty much follows standard configuration, which means that if I ever want to remove these and replace them with different ones, I can. I've also been receiving a lot of the packing materials. I received several large boxes of cut foam recently, and I've been working on some jigs to help with that. So packing foam is best put together with spray glue, and so I've been making these nice little stencils. So the idea is I put one of these stencils on top of these pieces of foam, spray the glue on, and then I use this jig and stack them together, and when it's all put together, I actually have my packaging foam. This is going to go in the product boxes, and it'll make for a pretty nice presentation. Another thing that I've been doing a lot of thinking about is how I'm going to be calibrating the calibration references that come along with the device. These things. So initially, the plan was that I would take one of my older commercial densitometers, calibrate it against some sort of standard, and then go ahead and use that to measure all of these references. The problem is that actually gives worse results than you'd think. You see, when you measure with any of these devices, there's always some error. So you have the official standards that come from somewhere like NIST. Then you have the error introduced by whatever densitometer my suppliers are using, compounded with the error from whatever densitometer I'm using. This kind of adds up and results in the numbers here having a little more wiggle room than I'm entirely comfortable with. Another problem with those commercial densitometers is there's a limit to how much I can actually calibrate them. I can calibrate their set points on the low end and the high end, but if there's any linearity issues with their response slope, there's not much that I can really do about that myself. However, the same's not true of the Printalizer densitometer. In fact, the Printalizer densitometer has a fairly sophisticated system for slope calibration. So what I'm actually thinking of doing is instead use a particular Printalizer densitometer that I designate as the golden device, do a full gain and slope and target calibration on it, and then use that to go ahead and measure these calibration strips. That way, I expect to get far more consistent results, and results that have a much better match for what customer devices will show. It might make it harder to put as much official sounding standards language on the label, but the ultimate end product, I think, will actually be better. In any case, at this point, this week, what I'm planning on doing once the circuit boards arrive is I'm going to start validating them, testing them, checking them out, making sure everything is good. And then as the 3D printed enclosures arrive, I'm finally going to start assembling devices. Now, my plan for device assembly is I'm going to begin by doing the complete process across a limited batch. This batch will be large enough that when it's done, I'll finally have something available for sale. But it's not going to be so large that it will take me forever to get through it. This way, I can work out any kinks in the process and make any improvements necessary. But also, I will have devices available for sale sooner. So once the Printilizer densitometer finally goes on sale, expect there to be a limited number available up front, and then as those start to sell, I will continue to produce the rest of the first major production run, and more devices will become available. And I think that's where things stand. I'll finally start getting in hardware to put together and check out this week. And with any luck, by the end of the month, production will finally begin to start ramping up. So when do I expect to have devices for sale? At the rate things are going, sometime next month is my best guess so far. However, if you subscribe to all of our social media channels and add your email address in the Contact Us section of the company website, you'll certainly get notified once things become available. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. And until later, bye!